I swear by my sword! There is no escape!
Incinerate!
Illusion shattered! Shine down!
Motion to compel! Incinerate!
One with the force.
Illusion shattered!
Maroon!
Wind, hear me! Shine down!
Ad Astra.
Illusion shattered!
Incinerate! Boom boom!
There is no escape!
Enshroud!
Incinerate! Blue and black!
Yeah. See ya. Right. Yeah. Keep up.
I swear by my sword! Illusion shattered!
Motion to compel!
There is no escape!
Right. It's so hot. Even a mist flower would melt in this heat. Now that I think about it, it wouldn't. But you get what I mean. Keep up. Keep up. Keep up.
Incinerate!
Illusion shattered!
Motion to compel!
Barbados! Fearless! There is no escape! Ha!
This route. If you ever have it.
Illusion shattered! There is no escape! I swear by my sword!
Incinerate! Go and fly!
Shine down!
Ad Astra Abyssosk. Welcome to the Adventurers Guild. Thank you for complete.
Haven't you heard? There's a strange
No escape! Motion to compel!
illusion shattered!
Invisible evidence!
Shine down!
Ah, you're finally back. What took you so long? I was starting to worry.
Oh, yeah, we ran into some small problems, but everything's fine now.
Alright, as long as everything's okay now. You all have a seat. I'll get the food ready. It won't take long.
Whoa, there's so much tasty food! You're amazing, Clasoli!
They were all pretty simple dishes to make. Don't be shy.
Paimon will help herself. Paimon will have some of this, and this. Oh, and this!
Ooh, yeah. Can I get another serving, please?
You're done already? Do you even chew when you're eating?
Of course! Didn't I say that I chew up the fish bones? I'll have just one more fish and leave the rest for Nechka.
It's okay. Just go ahead and eat all you'd like. Nechka can't eat these dishes anyway. Her body is too weak to digest these kinds of things. I'll just make some broth for her.
Oh no, but Paimon thought she'd already recovered from her illness.
Injuries caused by the abyss cannot be undone. The doctor said the fact that she's stable is already quite a miracle. But it's okay. Nechka can talk to me now and can even hold my hand. That's more than I could ask for. Even if she will never again know that I am her mother.
What do you mean?
The doctor said the abyss has had an irreversible effect on Nechka's soul. She's lost all her... The doctor also said this sort of memory loss isn't like simply forgetting something. Rather, she can no longer remember anything from before that fateful day.
Huh? But how does that happen?
You know about the woven scrolls that the Masters of the Night Wind use to record things, right? Well, generally speaking, forgetting things is like when the woven scrolls would gradually start to fade. As long as you repaint and weave the threads again, the faded memories will come back to life. But the case of Nechka's memory loss is as if her woven scroll had been cut in two, and the portion of the past was burnt to the books she loved to read, the flowers she took joy to grow, and the time she spent in this house were all cut off by the abyss, and can never be retrieved again. As one example of that, Nechka now only sees me as a strange, unfamiliar auntie who claims to be her mother. She's a good kid, and doesn't want to upset this lady who's been taking care of her so much, so she still calls me Mom. But I've always had a feeling that she's constantly wondering about things like, where is her real mother? Why is she stuck here in this house? Was she abandoned? Nechka really has no idea that her real mother is right in front of her, and has never left.
So you plan on recreating Nechka's woven scroll all by yourself?
What do you mean?
Or should I say, you've already started reweaving that scroll long ago? The delivery guys. I saw it hanging from his waist. Don't worry, I'll return the inscription to him once we've figured everything out. These things aren't cheap, after all.
When did you know?
Yeah, I noticed it back when blaze gem inscriptions suddenly became popular among the tribe. It was then that I also noticed that everyone wearing blaze gem inscriptions had varying degrees of memory loss. Traveler, you've picked up on it too, haven't you? Accessories made using ancient names forging techniques. For what's only supposed to be a pretty souvenir, this inscription contains a phlogiston engraving with a truly overkill level of complexity. The shapes and patterns of these engravings are also identical to that of an ancient name. By making just a few slight adjustments to the layout and connections of the main pattern, you can pretty much qualify this blaze gem inscription as a bona fide ancient name. And yet, you've never told anyone about these engravings in the blaze gem inscriptions that can be activated at any time. Am I right, Auntie?
I knew you were a sharp one, Shilonin. That's right. I have a way to cure Nechka and restore all her memories. It's actually quite simple. I want to forge an ancient name for Nechka that contains all of her past memories.
And the reason they must be approved by the Wyeb is because the memories they bear are all stored within the ley lines. Extracting those memories from the ley lines requires the Wyeb's assistance. But your plan wouldn't need you to do any of that, right, Auntie? Your blaze gem inscriptions will help you complete that part of your plan in the ley line's place. You will use the inscriptions to form a massive memory bank for Nechka. And the ancient names you're trying to forge will be used to extract corresponding memories from the memory bank.
A memory bank? Wait, so the reason all those people were having trouble remembering stuff is because the Blaze Gem inscriptions took away any memories related to Nachka?
Using other people's memories of Nachka to reconstruct her past? This is the first time I've heard of such an idea.
You've seen through my plans, Shilonin. You're as outstanding as ever. Far more brilliant than... I intend to use this
Wouldn't it...
Not at all. Every time a blade... This is the central inscription that can... which will... also soon serve as Nachka's ancient name.
You made all of this yourself, Tlasoli?
Yes. It was lots and... You saw it yourself. I nearly fainted just from being in the sun. I could collapse tomorrow, or even in the next few moments, but Nachka's ancient name is still far from completion. I've solved the issue of storing memories, but I still don't know how to connect Nachka up to this central inscription.
I thought you just modify your own ancient name.
I considered it, but this matter doesn't have anything to do with my ancient name. It's of no help to me, and I don't need its help now.
You know the price to pay for making something like this.
Yes, I do. But as long as I can get my Nachka back, I'm willing to do whatever it takes. Otherwise, Nachka won't have any chance of reclaiming her past once I'm dead and gone. She won't remember me, and she won't even remember when that time comes. She'll be left to drift around the... She is my daughter, the one to whom I gave the Nachka name.
Shilonin?
I'll take I'm going to completely disassemble it to confirm its components and uses, and I won't make any promises until I've checked everything. Say goodnight to Nachka for me, Auntie.
Oh, wait. I've also finished the inscriptions for the I'm sorry it took me so long to finish them.
Hold on, Auntie. The Traveler and Paimon have never met Nachka before, so you can't draw any memories from them.
That wasn't my intention. They're just ordinary gifts. Please, take them.
Huh? What was that noise?
Nachka must have woken up and wants to get out of bed on her own. Sorry. Nachka! Don't try to get out of bed. Just tell me.
You go ahead and take care of Nachka, Auntie. Let's go, Traveler and Paimon. Let's head back to the tribe first. There are some things I need to get from my workshop. Disassembling the central inscription? It's not going to be easy. You two can wait outside for a moment. I just need to... Oh, yeah, that's not really what I mean. It's not the mess that's really the problem. It's just that the workshop is cluttered with way too much stuff. Books, files, and even ancient texts I got from the Masters of the Nightwind. Everything's piled up to the ceiling. You probably won't know where to step once you're inside. Kachina suffered quite an unfortunate series of events the last time she went inside. Well, I suppose it was my fault for being so focused on searching for information at the time that I forgot to lock the door. After entering the workshop, she was shocked to find herself face to face with a massive woven scroll from the Masters of the Nightwind, and then she turned around and knocked over a huge stack of forging blueprints. She tried to step out of the way, but tripped on a poster tube that was behind her, and then boom! The forging blueprints came crashing down right onto her head.
Oh
She's lucky I noticed in time. I found Kachina in a daze and managed to save her before an entire set of the history of the Children of Echoes was about to bury her. I then dragged her up to the second floor. Ever since then, Kachina always waits outside the door and doesn't dare take a step in whenever she...
Yeah, you're an artisan and craftswoman after all. We thought there would be weapons and armor hanging all over the place. But it seems more like a library than a workshop.
Well, my primary work is forging ancient names, which is much trickier than making swords and tools. Aside from the necessary craftsmanship, I also need to consult many ancient texts. You probably already know that each ancient name represents a certain spirit, behind which are countless related stories to support it. In other words, the essence of an ancient name is the physical manifestation of a certain spiritual will. And as a name engraver, when I'm working on a new ancient name, I'm not only trying to give it a physical shape, but more importantly, I'm also trying to understand the spirit contained within the name. And to do that, I have to collect as many related stories as possible and read through them all. But, as you might know, people tend to add a lot of extraneous details when it comes to stories about themselves. For stories that have been clearly exaggerated or altered, I must gather other related stories and information as cross-references. This way, I can filter out all the absurd and exaggerated details and restore the person's life to its true nature. Only in true stories can you find the authentic spirit. And this is the only way for the spirit to become an ancient name that matches its essence.
We've heard about the concept behind ancient names before, but after hearing you explain the details, Paimon can't...
Well, no matter how powerful ancient names could be, they would never be able to suddenly... It's just a form of spiritual power that's passed down from generation to generation. It doesn't have those kinds of physically tangible effects. Well, take your own names, for example. From the moment you appeared in this world, some person had already prepared a blessing for you. And that person then condensed this blessing into your name and gave it to you as a gift. It may feel like the moment you received your name is already in the past, but it will always stay with you and move with you in the future. Names are blessings for the future from people standing in the past. Well, that's what Auntie once told me. With this blessing, people will become more confident as they walk into their future.
Oh, Paimon gets that. If you're alone when you're walking in the dark, it's easy to get scared and tired quickly. But if someone else is walking with you, then it won't be nearly as scary. And, well, you might still get tired, but it'll still be a whole lot better than walking alone. The Traveler always has Paimon by his side, though, so he'll never have to worry about that. Oh, Paimon sure many wish they could be in your shoes, Traveler. Paimon's always flying! Of course it gets tiring! But we're getting off topic. We can talk about that later.
Anyway, this is what Clisoli told me when I was training as a name engraver. And to be honest, I've only understood 20% of what she said at most. I've never been able to figure out the rest.
But doesn't that mean you basically don't get it?
Well, that's not entirely true. Auntie and I have at least come to a consensus on the most important thing. You know what? I am sick of talking. We can talk about all of this later. Please, wait a moment while I grab my things.
Did you hear a whole section of something collapse in there just now?
It's fine, it's fine. It was just a bunch of very old ancient name records. I've already made copies of them. I kept this set of phlogiston wedges in the back, so it wasn't easy to take out. I had to resort to brute force. Come on, let's go disassemble the central inscription. It shouldn't take long. Here we are. This is the place.
This cliff is pretty high. What are we going to do here? Are we going to climb to the very top and then throw this inscription down the cliff?
I'm going to use phlogiston to make an engraving circle on the cliff wall. That will allow me to investigate the internals of the central inscription. Now let me see if this thing can even turn on. I was still an apprentice last time I used it. Before we attempt to engrave the inside pattern of an ancient name with phlogiston, we always use this to draw out the engraving diagram on a cliff or open ground. Only after we've confirmed that phlogiston can flow properly through the internal engravings can we start formally working on the small internal engravings of the ancient name. If we want to dismantle the central inscription in a non-destructive manner, we'll have to use this thing. I really don't want to engrave such a large diagram with my bare hands.
Oh, so you'll be able to see what it looks like on the inside without ruining Tlasoli's inscription?
For the most part. If it were just an ordinary unfinished ancient name piece, but since it's a central
So, Shilonin, does this central inscription fall under the 20% you understand about ancient names? Or the other 80% you don't understand?
Oh, don't worry. As I said, Auntie and I share an understanding of which is names are intrinsic. Only by having names can things be sorted and categorized. They allow the world to become more orderly and identifiable. For example, when I order ore, I would usually say I need volcanic crystals of about 35% purity and no more than 3% of impurities. Without specific names, I would only be able to go to the ore merchant and say, I want this and this. No, this isn't it. That one. No, not that one either. Yeah, you see what I mean? Names are a crucial part of how we standardize our workflow. Without names, the work would be impossible. Yes, because forging ancient names is first. As for the question of why it's important, as long as it does not affect your ability to perform your work, you'll gradually understand. After all, creating an ancient name is... Well, let me break it down even further. We're not in the tribe right now anyway. Essentially, by forging ancient names, I'm assigning nicknames to the heroes in Natlan's history. Giving someone a name is a subjective expression. You just need to express your hopes and wishes for them. But giving someone a nickname is a much more objective expression to come up with if ancient names or nicknames. So the best I can do is gather all the information. Even a minor mistake in the process could cause people to misunderstand the nickname. For a name engraver such as myself, such mistakes would be considered a major blunder.
Paimon isn't trying to...
Phew, now I'm curious. Why don't you, come up with one?
Are you serious?
Of course. This is also my line of work, you know. Go ahead.
A nickname? Shilonin. Well, she uses phlogiston to forge weapons and make names for others.
But, you should keep it right, okay? Time to make like a smith and start smithing. Watch closely. Adjust the inclination by 2 degrees. Stop. The error margin is within an acceptable amount, but I'll extend the inscription link a little more just to be safe. I'll leave some space here. When the linked engravings are activated, the inscriptions here will overlap with each other. There! That should complete the flow.
Amazing, Shilonen! You were running all over that cliff as if it was flat ground!
Oh no, it doesn't have anything to do with my tribe. It's just the phlogiston adhesive I have on my shoes. But after all that running around, I'll have to infuse them with more phlogiston again. Huh. I should prepare a spare supply of phlogiston to bring with me next time. More or less, yeah. I usually have at least the key equipment on hand. I can show them to you when we next find the time, but let's get to work first. Let me see. Start with Anchor 1 and activate it with Density 3 phlogiston.
Whoa! A super huge diagram just appeared! Tlasoli's central inscription is even floating! So are you done checking the inscription, Shilonen? How does it look?
I didn't find any anomalies in the phlogiston engraving. All the adjustments are indeed based on ancient
That means we can help Tlasoli.
well, probably, but I have good news and bad news. Oh, but,
Paimon will cover her ears after the good news.
well, even if you cover your ears, the issue will still continue. What are your thoughts on absorbing memories? Yeah, well, sounds like something you'd say. But if you ask me, it's hard to control the absorption of memories. Technically speaking, this type of inscription has the power by herself.
Accomplices?
Well, here's the good news. From a purely objective standpoint, the bad news is there's still an underlying problem with this blaze gem inscription that cannot be ignored. I believe I've mentioned this before. Ancient names operate with the help of the Wyab, granting them the power to read information. In this if you remove the trying to scoop up a specific grain... Exactly. Now, let's consider the memories that Auntie has gathered. There's no way Auntie would let... And considering that nature only... So, if in an ideal world, and I also believe that But Auntie is not a Wyab. Her body...
What? How can we solve this problem?
Names are blessings for the future from... I've also made it my...